What's up, everybody? Hey, here is a little bit different type of a project than I'm used to doing, and I thought that some of you DIYers out there might like to check it out. My mom just recently traveled across country in her RV to come meet Harrison and then help out however she could while she was here. And while she was parked in our driveway, she asked me if I could take a look at a monitor that the previous owner had mounted in front of an existing cubbyhole. Now, the Motorhome's a late 90s model RV that originally had one of those big square box TVs built into some oak cabinets with some decorative like speaker cover material that just covered either the speakers or access panels around the motorhome. The problem is that the monitor didn't fit into the hole, obviously, because it's a wider screen television instead of the box kind. So what the guys did before is they bought one of those old swinging arm mounts, mounted it to that, but what ended up happening is that causes the monitor to be sticking out past the cabinet, which every time you'd climb into the front seats, you would either hit your head, or because they were wider, you couldn't actually open the cabinet doors. You were like hitting it, and you'd have to move it over to the passenger side to open the driver's side, and then you'd have to move it over to the driver's side to open the passenger side. It's kind of a pain, right? So after looking at this, of course, I said, hey, you know what would be really cool? If we created a space wide enough that you could mount even a larger TV to. Maybe a smart TV that you could connect your social media to, like Netflix and Facebook and all those good things. And then also have it in more so you're not going to hit your head, and you'll be able to open up your cabinet doors, right? Imagine that. Wow. That would be so cool. Whoa. Here's what it looked like before. You can see the small square cubby space for the box TV, and then you have the two mirror cabinets on each side, and then you see the access panels with the speakers on the two outside. So first I had to carefully remove all the hardware like the sunshades, the fan, the hardware, the cabinet doors, the shocks, latches, TV mounts, cords, wires, and any kind of electronics that was out there. I had to take out some insulation panels, and then it was real dusty, so I kind of just gave everything a real quick once over. Okay, I've got the flat screen all tore off, all the doors, the speakers, the old mount. I've got all my hardware in a cup. I've removed the face frame, which I was really excited that I was able to get that to come off. So this is what it looks like without the face frame. All right, and this is hopefully going to be a lot easier than I thought, because now the next step is to remove these cubbies and then just scoot them over as far as I can. I may have to, modify them a little bit, but that's the plan, making this area in the center a lot more open. There's so many cables coming down from the roof of this thing. It's like satellite TV and all this, and then they all connect to this little box here. Now, she's not using any of this right now, but I think before I disconnect this stuff, it's a good idea to probably label some of it. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, take the time to do it. I hate doing this kind of thing, but I really think it makes sense to do it, because once I disconnect this, and after I have a couple of beers, and after I sleep for one night, I'm not gonna remember any of this. Well, I ended up not being able to just scoot the cubbies over, because the inside shape of the motorhome, as it got out to the outsides, it changes. And so I ended up having to take those shelving pieces completely apart and then trim them down. I went to Home Depot and I purchased a sheet of 3/4 inch plywood oak veneer. And then I went over to the paint aisle and I picked out a Minwax oak stain that I thought matched the rest of the motorhome cabinets. Once I cut all my pieces, and I test fitted everything, made sure it fit, I put it all back together using staples and pin nails and lots of glue. And then I stained it a couple times to match all the older pieces. I also had a Minwax polyacrylic satin clear coat, and I put a couple coats of that on, light sand. I took these totally apart on the ends, and then I cut this a lot shallower because this was getting moved to the outside edge. All this is put together exactly like it was. This is a new piece. It used to just be this thin piece of plywood with a piece of carpet on top. I moved the outlets from up here to down there. This is a new section, and then this whole flat sheet right here, this is an access panel. The speakers I'm moving to right here because they used to be on the outside edge. I've got these little square pieces I cut down that are going to cover those. Like I said, the bracket to the flat screen is going to go there. I'm worried that this isn't going to fit, because when I took this all out, I took it out in pieces. So I'm going to see if I can get all this to fit in. Then I just have this outside edge section to finish up. And I plan on just cutting out this top part and then putting the doors on here. The bottom section is going to go all the way across. I tried to reuse all the original wood as much as I could, especially these outside trim boards. Some of them had a angled hole drilled like they used a jig when they put this thing together, and then I also used the original hardware. It really helped me out a lot. Okay, so all my fascia board trim pieces are all screwed and locked together. Put a little glue on there. The other thing I did is I got these doors lined up as best I could, and I kind of pre-drilled some of the holes after I straightened out the hinges. Then I took this weird putty stuff that never gets hard and went through all the old nail holes. You can see right there, that's where the bracket used to be. You can barely see it. I applied a little bit of stain on here. Once that gets dry, I'll apply some clear coat. But that is it. I mean, it matches pretty close. These little doors here, they actually are lighter than the rest of the wood in the cabinets. The second thing is I have this little piece of trim here, this little metal. I just cut this little piece of sheet metal. I'm going to apply it to the bottom of the door. It has some wallpaper that's kind of peeling up and stuff, so it's going to act as like a little kick plate. I have some black screws that I can put every so inches. Hopefully it'll look okay. I just got the fascia board all nailed into place. The doors lined up really nicely, so I was happy with that. The only thing is, because I added this bottom level to this, these needed to get moved from being down here to up on their side, and I actually think that they work better now. The only thing I'm not happy with is originally I had thought in my mind that I could shorten this board to where this trim piece would actually move up, covering this angled cut. The only reason why it didn't work out as planned is because the clearance on that plastic right there wasn't really enough. It was fine right here, but down in the corners it actually drops down. So I had to pick my battle, you know, whether I wanted to have the edge showing there or the edge showing here. I think the TV's gonna cover most of that. I also got the insulation all shoved back in here. I have all my satellite cabling and everything ran. It looks really pretty. It's like a rat nest in here. But I also added the support bars. It's locked into the side here, and it locks into the front to where it keeps this thing. It just adds for extra support for this thing going forward and back. I mean, this isn't going anywhere anyway, but this would make a nice little place for a rat to call home. Ugh. The next thing to do is I'm going to put my access panel back on and then mount my TV bracket and lock that down. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. Not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. Ooh. Ah. I'm not so sure I like these speaker covers. I think that it looks better to just have the hole. But you know what? It matches the rest of the motorhome. So I'm going to keep them there. It just depends on if the TV... If I see them with the TV up, I may move them or take them down. I'm not really sure. Well, there's the finished product. I think it turned out okay, considering it was my first little RV remodel job I've ever done. Now, I'm probably going to spend like an hour trying to sign into all the social media apps. I don't remember any of my passwords. Do you guys remember your passwords? I'm so used to being signed in, I don't even know if I know what my username is anymore. Huh. It's funny, I forgot to film it while it was parked in our driveway, but when my mom bought the motorhome, the people who owned it prior to her had a big old huge mural painted on the back, and it looks a lot like Eddie from Iron Maiden, and she's not real familiar with that. So she asked, she goes, "Hey, will you have a Hollywood Haunter sticker made and I'll stick it underneath it? Then that way people will know the reason why there's a monster on the back of my motorhome is because I'm supporting Hollywood Haunter." That was awfully sweet of Mom, but I'm thinking that Eddie from Iron Maiden is a little bit cooler than Hollywood Haunter. Just a little bit. I just think it's funny because my mom's not even into it, but she's got this creature on the back of her motorhome. People are probably like, "Oh my gosh. Oh, those guys that own that motorhome are hardcore." Everybody's gonna be like, "What's that mural on the back of your motorhome?" "Oh, that's my kid's Hollywood Haunter." Yeah, it looks a lot like Eddie from Iron Maiden. No, I'm pretty sure it's a Hollywood Haunter thing. Okay. You know, you can go ahead and tell everybody Bruce Dickinson got his inspiration for Eddie from Hollywood Haunter. It's believable. It could be true. Well, thanks for watching, you guys, and we'll see you soon. Hey, Mom, you want to watch some Hollywood Haunter videos on your new TV? No? Now that Harrison's around, Gina and I have pretty much become chop liver.